it all worked out.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we'll kind of come back and visit that and kind of dig a little bit deeper into like what's it mean to be what's required to be an entrepreneur, whether risks, the high points, the low points, all that kind of stuff.
Sure.
But wow, so I hadn't heard that part of your story when we had coffee there a while ago, and it's
Right.
interesting. That's like, well, you're pretty young when you kind of just got that out, and many of
Yeah.
our Baton Exchange listeners and folks that we invest in, they're about that age.
Sure.
And so this is really relevant to them.
Right. Awesome. Good.
Well, let's jump over a little bit more to an overview of your spiritual journey. And I recognize too that some of your spiritual journey ends up kind of integrating with your entrepreneurship journey.
Right.
So tell me a little bit about your spiritual journey. How did you come to know Christ? And
Yeah. John, I had a forced altar call by a camp counselor in seventh grade.
yeah,
And
yeah.
so although I thought I accepted Christ, I really wasn't living a true relationship with him
Mm-hmm.
over the years, and got involved in church and grew up in a Christian home. Parents divorced when I was in ninth grade, but still had the church background, Church of God in Anderson, Indiana. And when I met my wife, we decided after we got married to go to Central College Presbyterian Church. So 22 years there, serving on trustees and deacons, and highly invested into volunteering for church. And but really wasn't walking with Jesus in a true relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, if I look back, I just cringe at how arrogant and prideful, and I just wasn't a nice guy. I
Mm-hmm.
treated my employees not great, somewhat good, but not great. And I was just a hard person to work for, high expectations for everybody. And it was just not a good scene when I look back.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I had do-overs, but there are no do-overs.
Mm-hmm. But there's something changed in you. And we're going to unpack a little bit about what that was. And that was kind of through your entrepreneurship journey.
Yep.
So now obviously, there's something that changed back then, but now, you're walking with the Lord. You've learned a lot and, reflecting on what would I do different? And, but now you're walking with the Lord, and how would you describe in this season of life what that looks like?
Well, John, to share, when we closed the business after 18 years, God put me in a 7-year desert,
Mm-hmm.
trying to find a job. And that was in 1998 when we closed the business. And that'd be a future story here. But in 2002, August of 2002, I read a book called uh, Surrender, Your Spiritual Guide to Success. And it wasn't until I got to page 39, I found that this gentleman who wrote the book was a 91-year-old pastor who came to our church and passed out these books. But page 39 took me down on the floor weeping. And when I realized that pride begets, you become your own God, and then you sin. And I was so full of pride. And I just got on the floor, re-surrendered my life to Christ. And really, truly, at that point in 2002 is when I really started that relationship journey with him.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a spiritual marker turnaround in my life.
Mm-hmm. Wow. So, we guess can't underestimate how God uses others to kind of help redirect us. And even through that story, I'm just reminded of his mercy,
Absolutely.
his mercy and his grace.
Oh, thank goodness.
That's
Thank
right.
goodness.
That's right.